Ooh, Nelly, you've joined us for another episode of ArmaGEEKdon. I got this guy. Is he this? No, he's this side, is he? Which side is he? He's one of these two sides. I don't know. It's my main man, Sjubbs 7, famous for many things, Talking Joe and G.I. Joeberg among them. How are you, good sir?
Chief, my stock standard answer, never better, especially when I'm talking to the Chiefy Two Shoes.
There you go, baby. There you go. Listen, we're going to cut straight to the chase because we've got a lot to talk about here. Now, I've recently got back into trading cards, collected them in the 90s, mainly kind of Marvel DC stuff, and have got back into now some sports trading cards as well. You probably noticed, viewers out there, that I put up a couple of sports trading card videos. I've got another one coming up actually tomorrow, but we're here to talk about today is the 1991 Impel G.I. Joe set of trading cards. Now, I had a quick look because I can't remember any other Impel sets, but they actually they got bought out or changed their name to Skybox, who did a lot of sports stuff. So
Okay.
Skybox used to be Impel, but yeah, this were you a trading card guy as a kid or in general or not?
So the first time I ever encountered trading cards were actually, I mean, because I'm a toy guy, they were attached to a toy, of course. It was Monsters in My Pocket, which were these luminous little rubber figurines that each came with a trading card. And some kids would trade the cards, which I thought was bogus because I was like, what am I doing with these pieces of paper? Why would I want those to change hands? Instead, I was trading the action figures. Or they weren't action figures. They were pre-posed sort of mythical monsters and creatures. But that soon spiraled into many, many trends, like slammers or Tazos, Pogs, you might call them. But mixed in with that was definitely a trading card craze. And it was the 1990, I'm going to say 92 series of X-Men trading cards.
Okay.
I mean, X-Men was the big thing of the time. As you recall, the TV series, the animation was big. So these cards were in the hands of every kid. So the terms got, need, and was it shiny? I don't recall ever saying shiny.
Would
that be...
Trading cards was to a lesser degree in the UK behind sticker books. So Panini.
Yes, Panini.
Well, Panini, who now, interestingly,
it's a sandwich.
They've actually kind of cornered the market on sports trading cards. I mean, Panini have it all. They got, American football, soccer, basketball, hockey, F1, everything is pretty much Panini now, exclusive. Whereas in the 90s, it used to be Flair,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, no, I was going to say everything. Exactly. But in terms of those sports cards, it was Skybox, Hoops, Flair, Flair Ultras, Upper Deck, and all these different all these different kind of cards. But all those companies seem to have literally been dumped in the bin, and Panini is the king now. But in the UK, back in the late 80s and 90s, Panini was a sticker company mainly, and mainly football, soccer, and you'd get these, especially World Cup, Euros, or the Premier League, you'd get these sticker books, and like you said, maybe even Turtles or things like that. So trading cards was, when the Marvel stuff came out, I mean, I never really saw too many kids in the playground with them, I guess because in 1992 I was 17, so I wasn't in the playground, but I was still collecting them.
Where were you, Chief? Round the back having a smoke?
No, I don't know where it was, but yes, I'm probably playing poker. I played a lot of poker when I was
trading cards of a different kind.
Yeah. But anyway, in 1991, Impel released a set of G.I. Joe trading cards. Now, 91, what was G.I. Joe doing at the time in 91? I'm trying to think what issue of the comic that would have been on.
Wildman was the artist.
Yes, early
91, I think, was in the midst of the wrapping up of the Emirates of Benzene storyline.
Okay, right. Okay,
Yeah.
so probably around 115, 116, 117, somewhere around that numbers of the comic book, which in the Marvel comic would go to 155 and then shut up shop for a while. But it was, I guess it was a bit of a surprise that they released these cards then, was it? Or I guess not really, maybe because I think it was probably the trading card boom of those Marvel cards led to Impel saying that we need to put out some trading cards. Hasbro, Marvel, can we have the license? Can we put out some cards?
Just so that no one crucifies me too much in the comments section, I think it was Mark Bright and then Andrew Wildman. So between the two of them, maybe there were some fill-in artists, but it was their very much their era, the handover from Bright to Wildman. But a good period for me. Like, that's kind of my jumping on point with the G.I. Joe comic books. In animation, that is when the cartoon was shifted northwards to the Canadian-based production company called DIC, or DEEK, if you will. And there was a marked drop in quality, unfortunately. That's not a slight on Canada, but they did undercut the Sunbow Marvel crowd.
And what was the toy situation here? What line? What series? You know,
Snake Eyes had orange goggles.
I claim to have been a G.I. Joe fan, but I am very much a casual fan. But
I think 91 was the kind of explosion of subgroups. So you had supersonic fighters, you had eco warriors, you had air commandos, you had battle copters. Like, there were perhaps more figures pushed into the sub teams than there were in the main line.
Okay. But anyway, what we got these cards. Now, you also have a set in front of you, I believe.
It was an Impel buy. I can't believe it, even with my very sparse collection here in Australia, before lockdown started, when I was still in the Philippines, I picked up a full set, and I'm thrilled to have them.
You had owned these previous to that or not?
No, I'd encountered a few of them. Like, obviously, I'd seen the advertisements in the comic books, and I was like, ooh, cool. And then I'd received a few of them just in random eBay purchases. Like, I think people thought it was cute to, like, if you buy a figure from them, put in the trading card that of that figure. But my goodness, Chief, we're gonna get into it, but there's some pretty boneheaded copy. Okay. And that's the delight of these cards. Like, whoever wrote them.
Yeah. Now, I've probably never read any of the copy on these cards. I probably never even flicked. This might even be the first time of me, spending a lot of time, because the joy I have of trading cards, especially the ones with great art and things, is just Star Wars Galaxy ones are fantastic. Just poring over the art and the copy on the back and just soaking it up. And then, every 6 months, just go back and just have another look. And these ones, I've obviously bought them because I was in a trading card phase a few years ago, and I've flicked through them, but I've never actually read them or studied them. So this will be the first time for me. But interesting.
Chief, in overview, if the art is your in, how do you rate the art on these cards?
Well, we're about to find out.
Okay, well, let's see. What would you assume your score to be? Just taking a quick glance.
So all the art here, apart from there's a section of cover art, which is taken from the original, obviously. All the rest is all original art. I couldn't find out who the artist or artists were. It doesn't sound.
Needless to say, it's pretty consistent. Like, if there was more than one artist, there's a very consistent style being used and consistent approach.
Some of them are not great, but some of them I've looked through, and some of them I actually really do like. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. But interestingly, we start off with the first, we'll have a very quick look at these. The first 7 cards in the set all got these orange backgrounds. And interestingly, they are all Eco Warriors, which was a subset, I guess, of Cobras and Joes. And, the first dude up here is Cesspool, who do like this character.
He apparently will really take a toll on your credit rating. Like, that's the threat that they put, because he was a CEO who then became nefarious after he was horribly disfigured. Yeah.
So on the back of the cards, just so people know, you get a bit of a spiel. and then you also get his credentials. So you get his name, his grade, his birthplace, his primary MOS. What's that?
Military occupational specialty.
Okay.
MOS.
MOS.
Yeah.
And then you special training, and then you get current assignment. So you get a few things here.
And the other thing I want to note about these cards, just flicking through them this afternoon, particularly with the Eco Warriors, like there isn't a baddie and goodie term for the Eco Warriors.
No.
Like if you're a Cobra and you're in the sort of the ecological disaster squad, you're called an Eco Warrior. And if you're a Joe, you're also called an Eco Warrior.
Yeah.
So under current assignment for both factions, it's Eco Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, one might be misled to believe that they're actually on the same side.
Or did they just get together? Did Cobra Commander just send an email across to Hawk and say, look, we're developing this dude here. I know you got some. Let's just all call them Eco Warriors.
Yeah, save us on trademarking and royalties.
I don't mind that Flint one. I quite like that Flint one.
Yeah, cool. Interesting. Low angle.
As in the pose and the shadow and stuff. But I mean, obviously, you take it with a pinch of salt, these Eco Warrior costumes, don't you, I guess? Toxo there. Just kind of stepping 1 foot forward.
Chief, I think they flew off the pegs, particularly where I was. Yeah, bright colors and water firing action and color change feature just meant that they were, you were getting more value than a figure that didn't offer any of those.
I don't want to derail this, so we'll talk about this for 30 seconds, but you mentioned color change. I did see that G.I. Joe Classified line are putting out a color change Zartan.
What do you want to know? It's a HasCon Hasbro convention exclusive.
Okay, all right.
But it comes in a very big box along with some added. Yeah, Duke. I think there's a Storm Shadow mask, Snake Eyes mask. I'm probably forgetting some, but yes, the skin does change.
In cold conditions.
There you go. Yeah, it's no longer photochromatic. It's
okay.
Right. Thermochromatic, which is stupid, man. Zartan's thing was like, I can't take the sun. Oh, you like clean sweep, do you?
Well, I'm not getting it. What's this thing he's got here? Clean sweep, some sort of.
It's a sludge-sucking drone.
Love it.
That's 1991's idea of what a drone looks like.
Septic tank. Is that a hiss?
It's a hiss done up in bright orange with some Lumo yellow slapped on, just for good measure.
Ozone.
Yep.
I mean, in the comics, they didn't really get much chance to individually shine, did they?
I think Larry was really having a hard time getting excited about taking his 6 degrees of separation from Snake Eyes soap opera and having to constantly divert towards these new subgroups.
Right, we've got a 6-card set next for Joe Vehicles. No doubt.
And a playset. The 1983 HQ, I think, is mixed in there. Beautiful.
That's a nice piece of art as well. I like that.
Yeah, it looks like a Sky Striker. It's
and we've got
well proportioned.
You got a bit of spiel, and then you got some tech stuff down the side, armaments, special equipment, power plants, speed, combat ceiling, maximum range, current deployment, air defense. How much input did Hammer have on these, do you reckon? Or Hammer, sorry. 0.
Because, I mean, I think he stretched as far as writing the odd file card at this point. Like in 1991, like Hasbro had an on-again, off-again relationship with him. And a lot of file card writing by this point, I think, was done in-house.
Yeah.
And you can clearly tell that it's not Hammer's style.
Right,
but an imitator.
You let me know when we come up to some good copy that we need to discuss. Rolling Thunder? Rolling Thunder, does it? Or...
Well, it kind of looks like the box art, because the box art has the missiles mid-elevation, like that. Yeah.
Is everyone's favourite?
Not baby.
Tomahawk, that's a nice one. MBT. I had that. Yeah, go on. What you found?
Well, no, just the joy of the writing is evident with the Tomahawk. Tomahawk is G.I. Joe's primary recon and airstrike flyer. Put it on the line, and it cuts through Cobra's army like Swiss cheese, one hole at a time.
That's laborious, and that is slow, one hole at a time.
Well, very quickly, it's got a minigun. Now the Snowcat, they've added a piece of weaponry that I don't think it has. It says it's got twin ski-mounted ground-to-ground missiles, not surface-to-surface. Okay, a 4-stage rocket launcher. Does that mean 4-round rocket launcher? Or was it 4-stage? So each individual rocket breaks into 4 pieces. Whatever. But then here's the weird one. It says it's got a top-mounted buzz bomb catapult, which leads me to believe maybe they were going to re-release the Snowcat in 1991. Okay,
interesting.
I don't know. Cobra Commander in 1991 had a buzz bomb catapult.
Yeah.
A classic. Which was about to be re-released with the Eco Warriors the very next year. Now that I think about it, they redid it in blue. It kind of looks like Beachcomber from the Transformers.
Yeah, I like it. Really good.
Okay, here's something that's kind of rich. They say on the back copy that the G.I. Joe headquarters is able to withstand a 30 megaton explosion.
That's big, right?
Yeah. So the bombs that leveled Hiroshima and Nagasaki were around 10 to 15 kilotons.
Okay.
So a kiloton is 1,000 tons of TNT.
Right.
That's the explosive yield. A megaton is 1,000,000 tons of TNT. Okay. So the 1983 G.I. Joe HQ can withstand 30 million tons of TNT.
And is it open top as well, like a convertible?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, that's how the toy was sold. Forgive me. Obviously, Saturday nights, everyone's hooning around bloody. Is it Saturday night? Is it Friday night? I don't know. I lose track.
I don't know. We got some Cobra stuff now. Night Raven.
Any standout artworks for you, Chief?
The green planet that is flying past.
What the hell is that? Some green cheese.
Some green cheese. Okay. Rattler. I always liked a Rattler. There's that great scene where the Rattler first appears in whatever it is, issue. What's the one?
20s? It's in the 20s, isn't it?
It's the first appearance where of Doom Roblox.
Like chimney sweepers come to dust.
22, that is, I think.
Right. Yeah, but it's depicted slightly incorrectly. Like they've got the configuration all wrong. Like the engines are still where the A10 has them. But power to them for working it in that early. I was watching the original G.I. Joe miniseries the other night, the Mass Device.
Okay.
And that was aired in 1983. But they also had a kind of a proto Rattler in it.
Right.
That had VTOL capabilities. Okay. And a big old cannon in the front. So clearly these designs were in the ether, as it were, back in the early 80s. A classic. Did you have that, Chief, that toy?
I did not have it. No, Ben had it.
Beautiful.
Big vehicle, isn't it?
Yeah. Like an accurately scaled cigarette boat loaded to the gills with guns.
And then we get. Oh no, I've got the wrong. Where's the cards gone? I've gone to the wrong. Well, we just
about the hydrofoil. Don't worry, I'll cover for you, Chief.
About the
hydrofoil, they say the Cobra Moray hydrofoil can outrun and outgun all of our small armored amphibious craft. Why amphibious? Why not open seas? Anyways, whatever. If you don't get a shot at this craft before it rises up out of the water, you'd better know how to swim.
Good. Then we get rank and file, a section called rank and file, which is, I guess, Joes that aren't new for this calendar year or part of the original 13. It's kind of the others. So you got Bazooka, featured quite heavily in the Marvel UK Action Force comic.
Hmm.
One of your faves coming up next.
Oh yeah. Now this was a card that was included in an auction that I received, like, fortuitously. The guy didn't know that I was a Shockwave fan.
Right. Okay.
It's a good look, but I wish they wouldn't depict him in the jungle. That's just a generic kind of place to place any soldier. Like, Shockwave is an urban attack specialist.
Yeah.
Like, come on, artist. Do better.
Dusty.
Oh, fantastic. You know, I recently, for the first time in my life, completed my Dusty action figure. I've got his bipod.
I saw the
What
picture.
a feeling.
I saw the picture online. Actually. Yeah, very good.
Well, you can substitute it, but once you've got the original, it feels right.
There's a Duke.
Now, that looks like it might have been a paint over, or could it not be? I mean, do you remember him charging up after the creation of Cobra Island?
Yeah.
It's a very similar pose with bullets whizzing through the air.
Yep.
I might be completely mistaken, but I recently reread that arc, and if it's not a direct paint over, it's inspired by.
Okay.
Nice.
What?
I'm surprised they didn't go with some comic relief of him tripping, dropping something.
Alpine. I could have done with some nice Alpine, mountain climber solo stories. Although he had a special missions, I think, didn't he?
That is such a good special missions, Men of Honor. Yeah. With the German war criminal in Argentina and the poison gas on the Condor.
Is a good.
So good.
Shipwreck. There's Polly.
Cute.
Spirit. Iron Knife Charlie, or Charlie Iron Knife. Because I always used to call him Spirit Iron Knife. That was literally.
And I used to scream into my radio while I was listening to you and Ben talking about those issues, thinking like, why are you guys calling him Spirit Iron Knife? That's like a hybrid of his code name and his file name.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, in his initial appearances, they wouldn't call him Spirit. They'd call him Spirit Iron Knife. I think in the actual text, Larry wrote him as Spirit Iron Knife.
Right. Okay. There you go.
And they would keep, which is a great habit to have, because the theory is every comic book could be someone's first. So always introduce your characters and reintroduce them by name. But it just seemed clunky every time to be referring to him as Spirit Iron Knife.
See, I thought his code name was Spirit Iron Knife.
It's a cool sounding name, but I mean, it's a bit of a mouthful. I always thought the Joe code name should always be monosyllabic. It just cuts down on radio chatter.
1, 2, 3.
Duke. Nice. Interesting, because he did have a second version by this stage in 89 already.
Right.
So they went with the original dome. It's nice. Nice callback.
Storm Shadow. Don't think I've ever seen Storm Shadow in a piece of art depicted with kind of like a dragon art anywhere around him.
I wonder if that dragon art is the same as the Tampo that's on Jinx. So she's got a cool dragon symbol on her chest. In the movie, they centered it and made it really big. On the action figure, it's just sort of on her left breast.
A trained ninja, he later infiltrated Cobra. Did he infiltrate Cobra? Or
we never got that story. I'd love to see Storm Shadow's early days, how he made himself available to Cobra Command and worked his way up to eventually becoming Cobra Commander's bodyguard. I mean, he must have impressed certain layers beneath Cobra Commander before he was allowed to even be in the same room.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted the sports trading card influence. There you go, Chief.
I don't
Now,
know.
he was
I don't know who this is.
well. I'd say in 1991 he was like on the trajectory to being the Duke of the team. At least he was being marketed as such, and he had that presence in the cartoon series by
I was
Geek.
going to say marketed where, because I never watched the cartoon, and I wasn't getting the toys at this point, and obviously he wasn't in the comic. So, you're saying in the cartoon he was quite prevalent, or
Yeah, he very like I think in 1991 there wasn't a Duke figure available, and Captain Gridiron as an officer, but like a sort of a junior officer who was still in the field with his men, was very much that persona, and he was very like a gung ho kind of guy.
okay.
So he was the Duke of that year. But then in '92 there was another Duke. So bye bye Captain Gridiron.
There's a roadblock.
In his version 2 outfit, interesting choice.
See if there's anything interesting on the back.
That figure came with a different gun to his Marduce, but that gun never saw any use, sadly. And sadly, because it is a British weapon, a general purpose machine gun. Ah, Gong Ho.
He's not Scottish.
Yeah, but I am. for a wee moment there.
Scottish, Greek, South African, yeah.
Hey, I am a chameleon.
Okay, very good. All right, now we switch over to.
Chief, are you literally gonna say very good? Have an opinion, man. Come on, come at me. Say this card is shit. I'm gonna tell you why.
Nah. Well, I mean, what we're seeing, I think, with most of these cards, they're fairly generic. You know, they're in generic-ish poses. They're not leaping out at you. However, you know, I mean, I actually quite like this one. I'm going to jump forward one. I quite like this pose for the Televiper. You know, it just looks, I think it's really cool. You know, he's not doing anything specifically action-oriented, but all the other action ones we've seen recently, they're all just running, you know, gunning, just, you know, doing generic stuff. I missed out this one here, the Cobra Commander.
I like that.
It's a good one. I like the border. Yeah. The border's kind of wacky and wild as well.
Yeah, that camouflage pattern will perhaps help on Mars.
Yeah.
You do get the mirror face as well as the rag. The rag is now kind of plunged into controversy, yeah. And the theory, the working theory about why all of a sudden is, well, people say it's because Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, the producer on the 3 live-action G.I. Joe films and Transformers, you know, he's a Paramount man, it seems. He is adamant that it looks like a KKK mask.
Right.
And he kind of said so in an interview. And all of a sudden now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon saying, ooh, cancel Cobra Commander's mask.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't read the current G.I. Joe comics, but how has he been depicted recently?
Same as ever. Whimsical.
Right. Okay.
Wordy.
Right.
Not particularly intimidating anymore. Look, my take on it is, yeah, if you get KKK vibes, well, you should, because Cobra Commander is a despicable bad guy and should be hated. Like, don't try and deify him or put him on a pedestal. Yeah. Like, if he's giving you creepy, like, bad juju, then it's working.
Yeah.
That's why the mask is so, the hood is so effective, because it is so like turn of the previous century evil.
Yeah. They could do some real creepy stories with him, I think, if they wanted to.
Yep.
Metalhead. I like this guy. He only had a couple of appearances in the comic, but you can argue how practical these rocket launchers are strapped to that. But
well, look, my father clued me into the fact that, like, he did some military service himself, and firing a rocket-propelled grenade. Like I asked him, "What's the recoil like on that thing?" And he's like, "There is no recoil because it's shooting jet exhaust out the back or rocket exhaust out the back while the projectile is going out the front. So essentially, you're just standing still, and this thing is leaving you."
Right.
So maybe, aside from the obvious weight implications of running around the battlefield with 6 rockets or missiles strapped to you, actually firing them.
His head.
Well, his helmet, he came with a very it was like a
long.
It had a nice blast, blast shield back there. But yeah, Chief, it's suicide. This is G.I. Joe, right?
I love Snow Serpent. Is probably one of my favorite figures and designs in general of a G.I. Joe character. He's probably top 3 maybe. This is a great card. He never came with skis though, did he? He came with snowshoes.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It doesn't just because the figure didn't come with skis doesn't mean he can't use skis.
He's hard. He's skiing, no poles, and going full auto with an AK. That's
a great one. And on the back of the card, it looks like, nice little touch. The guy's actually wearing glasses. Have a look at that. Number 35.
Interesting.
Wearing glasses.
Prescription specs underneath that.
I like that.
And it's possible that he's a darker ethnicity than white.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't see that much in Cobra.
Bonus. Apologies on the resolution here of these cards as I'm showing them. They're not crystal clear. I'll put a link down below to somewhere where you can get a look at all these images. I'm assuming now there is somewhere online where you can look at all these cards. And if there is,
I like Baroness's inset, like on the back of the card.
Yeah.
Cheeky. I like that expression. It's nice because a lot of the traps that artists fall into when doing Baroness is to like chipify her, like cute her up, like make her young looking. She shouldn't be. She should look like, obviously not haggard, but like she's not a child.
Yeah.
This doctor always has time for his crunches.
Good codpiece action there.
Jeez, heavy duty.
Tash on that as well. Look at that. Mindbender. He's still going.
Icon.
Larry's got a very soft spot for Mindbender. I mean, I've not read since the end of Snake Hunt issue 275, but even up to that point, the Cobra High Command had been thinned out to pretty much Cobra Commander and Mindbender.
Which is ironic because Cobra Commander killed Dr. Mindbender. Oh well. Infinite forgiveness. Yeah, cool. What about castle that is?
Smoking gun, but in the castle, nice setting. Kind of like that kind of glow that's coming up the stairs or off the gun. That's kind of nice. Firefly, he's got a convoluted history.
My buddy Cujo insists that Firefly always be depicted moving away. Like he's always escaping from the impending explosion. So that card does fit his criteria. Okay,
now I'm moving on to an original team subset, and I want you to give me a rating out of 10 of how much you like these characters, just because they're original. Actually, it's original.
10.
What are
10's
they?
high, man. Let's make it 5.
Right,
Let's
okay.
keep it simple.
What is the original? Is it 13 in the original?
Depends on how you want to break them up. But yeah, 13 Joes plus possibly Shooter, who never got an action figure back then.
Let's mark them out of 13. But that's what we do on Gone with the Rewind. We rate our movies out of 13 because everyone rates out of 5 and 10, so we go out of 13. Have a baker's dozen. But anyway, Zap. I mean, first thing I'm actually going to say is look how he's holding that gun. That I don't think you'd hold the gun with the butt on the outside of your forearm. But anyway,
while
Zap.
Leaping over a broken wall. Zap.
You can go out of 5. You can go out of 5. Zap.
No, go out of 13. Why the hell not? Zap's a solid 8 out of 13 character.
Okay. Breaker.
Oh, he's creeping a little bit closer. I'd say 9 or 10 out of 13.
Good pose. I quite like.
Good pose for a dead man.
That's quite a nice image.
I hate to say it. Yeah, it's a good image, but it's not his original 13 outfit.
No, you're right.
So
I've got a Commando outfit at all, is it?
I've got to dock it quite severely for that.
Yeah.
But if we're talking just about character, right, Chief? Like, as overexposed as Snake Eyes is, you can't give him less than a perfect score in terms of character, because his backstory, when told well, is very compelling. It's great. Why the oversexed pose, man?
I don't like it at all. Why
do we have to see both butt cheeks?
I like the throwing stars coming towards the viewer, but that's the only thing I like about it.
What is with that pose, man? But Scarlet's another 13 out of 13 character. Okay. She's terrific. Grunt. He had an interesting arc.
Yeah.
Which not many of the original 13 guys had.
And he's either very lucky or very brave here.
Jesus.
Or very stupid.
How does a sharpshooter not hit him square through the ankles like that?
Because he's trying not to.
Grunt's I'd say it's in parity with Zap, whatever that was, 7, 8. Yeah, Flash, great figure, great accessories. They didn't really do much with him, though.
Could have done more with him, couldn't they?
Well, this is the problem with how quickly the original 13 had to kind of give way to more varied characters that were.
And was that because they already knew they had a hit on their hands, so the toy business was just cranking out new figures, so they knew they had to get rid of them, or just because
it could have gone either way for G.I. Joe, but it did become a success and just kind of mushroomed. Larry Hama was famously saying that he used up all his good ideas for the Giant Size issue 1. And you get a feel for each of the characters in that, and he, like, for 13 Green Army Men, he did a damn fine job of like giving each one their thing. Like, Breaker's the wisecracking bubblegum chewing dude, Rock and Roll's the surfer, Stalker talks jive. There he is, Rock. Each of them had a kind of a certain vehicle or equipment predilection, and that team could have just moved through and gotten different uniforms and different looks and had different expansions on the story, but it was not meant to be. The toy line was expanding too quickly.
It says whether he's wailing chords with his favorite band or blasting Cobra with an M79 grenade launcher, if it booms, he likes it. When you ask him if there's any difference between the two, he tells you it's all just music to his ears.
The sounds of the dead and dying.
Yeah.
Right. Dark. Short fuse. Now, like this.
He probably had the least exposure of any of these guys, do you reckon?
True, yeah, definitely. Grand Slam had one moment.
They spelled fuse wrong as well.
F-U-Z-E.
Yeah, it should be an S, no?
Depends on where you are in the world, I think.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the Yanks got it wrong.
Of course, always.
Yeah, well, another bespectacled person.
Yeah, man. The action figure couldn't have that sculpted detail, but he got it in the comic books. Very nice. This is a 13 out of 13 character as well, and also my favorite G.I. Joe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Big fan of that dude.
Another high-scoring character for me because he was total misogynist and unapologetic about it. Like, There's one very competent female soldier on the team. Boy, oh boy, Clutch is going to make it his mission to hit on her at every opportunity, mercilessly, just to be swatted down. But he never stopped. Okay, Steeler. The Action Force one is a Greek, but Steeler's from Pittsburgh, man. He talks about yins,
right?
And Jawn, Jawn. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, Grand Slam, like I say, had that one moment where he kicks blood in that bus, kind of vaults down through the front of the bus, but that's pretty much it. And they showed no love to his included artillery weapon, the HAL, that kept getting blown up all the time.
Yeah, original. It's interestingly, they're still on original team here, and they've got Viper, because no, there's a note I saw online that Larry doesn't distinguish between Cobra Infantry and Viper. Supposedly, they're one and the same.
Well then, it must be gospel. Hey, Chief, the whole idea of canon is so strange to me now. What is it? What is canon? Who writes the canon? Yeah. Who's the keeper of the lore?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm never been too precious about canon from anything really, but mainly stemming from comic books or even movies or just IPs in general. So if it's a good story, then I'll consume it. I don't mind if it's not. If it's considered not canon, then it doesn't bother me. But Ben is a massive stickler for canon, especially in Star Wars. If it's not canon, he's not interested.
Well, that is the biggest headache of all, to try and discern canon, because now
it's whatever Disney says is canon, isn't it? I guess now.
And I believe there are contradictions there as well.
Oh, right, within Disney.
Yeah, but I speak from beyond my ken. Maybe there was quite a nice response to our Star Wars chat last time. Maybe we should switch focus. Stop tapping me for the G.I. Joe stuff. I know I've made a name for myself with it, but
different. This is my favourite card art so far.
And it was the one they featured in the commercial, isn't it?
Right.
In the comic books.
Yes, yeah. Just really love that angle. Really, really nice.
With Old Glory.
With Old Glory. I've got all the rest of mine are sleeved, so I'm just unsleeving them as we speak. I think we're going on to next is, what's this? Original vehicles next.
Oh yeah, and that Hawk look wasn't his OG 13 look, which what they just want to further the confusion by misrepresenting him in the wrong uniform.
Yeah.
Jetpack jump. Now this is where G.I. Joe is. Its sweet spot is with the almost Flash Gordon kind of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Tech. This Cold War looking sleek thing. It's I love the jump. Ram also. I mean, one associates the Ram either with Rock and Roll or Breaker. Breaker for the box art.
Or for me. I took that gun off the side and Mutt used to hold it.
Can't believe you didn't break his thumbs. Oh wait, you did.
Yeah.
So was that a bit of putty that you then used?
No, nothing. Just
nothing. That was it. He was binned.
Yeah. No, not quite. Attack cannon flak. Now, supposedly this.
Just picked up a typo. I mean, these things are bound. They're just boundless amount of typos. But the RAM on the back copy is called the RFM. So they use. I mean,
rapid fire.
The RAM is the rapid assault motorcycle.
Even on the front,
call it a rapid fire motorcycle.
On the front, it says rapid fire motorcycle.
But then they give it the correct acronym RAM, which okay.
And supposedly, I think this is actually the Vamp 2, not the Vamp 1.
Well, it's got the desert scheme. It's just a coloring error, I guess, because it's got the cannons on the back. Like
On the back it says, kicking up sand in the middle of the desert is the Vamp Mark II.
they don't know what they're doing. But you know what? Like, okay, it would have been a headache, but the Vamp Mark 1 should have been re-released in desert colors as well, just for the sake of completeness.
Yeah.
Like, you could have squeezed a couple of bucks out of kids by giving them like a desert selection and a jungle selection.
Yeah.
The only way to get Colonel Hawk.
Then we got another, little set here. You were talking. Oh no, sorry, that's wet. I thought I had I have got a later Deep Six here actually.
Right.
Because
about the Mobat, they say that it's a light tank powerful enough to take out an entire Cobra platoon in 15 seconds. That's very specific. What are they doing in 15 seconds? Like,
do they know how spread out those Cobra platoon is?
Whatever, man. 30 megatons. That's all I can say.
That's my favourite.
Totally.
So what is this set? This is now a yellow bordered. Oh, this is official battle gear.
Mm-hmm.
I like that image a lot. It's kind of super.
Yeah, man.
It looks like someone's going down to fight Aquaman or something.
It looks like he's Green Goblin on his Goblin glider. That's not how you're supposed to ride that thing.
Love it though. I love that. Is it
cool?
Hold it float like a flotation thing.
Yeah. Like one of those kickboards.
No, that's great.
You know, you hold onto the handle and it will power you through the water. Official
battle gear here for Gung Ho. Apparently, I'm not seeing you go into many battles wearing that, but
yep.
And they went.
Be a very brief battle. You know, it always occurs to me that, like, in space, your biggest enemy is the environment itself. That's what's out to kill you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wouldn't be like Moonraker. It'd be over in seconds.
Love Moonraker. So that's the late deep suit outfit. Deep suit, Deep Six.
And he would get a third version the very next year.
Oh, wow.
With Eco Warriors, yeah.
Okay.
He came with a dolphin accessory, which in hindsight is brilliant. Like, the Navy does use dolphins for, I don't know, finding bombs. Yeah, exactly. Talking about bombs.
Here's the Disposal Man, McLeod's favourite.
I quite like that artwork. It's depicting him with the drone as well.
Yeah, I mean, he does look like he's straining for a dump, but it's that's a good one.
What do you suppose that device is? Does that control the drone, or has it got some detection properties as well, like a mine detector?
You hope it's not just drone control, but
he's focusing it pretty intently. So what I love the most about that Foster art is that. What is the background to it?
Rolling Thunder?
No. Yes.
Is it?
Yeah. Great touch.
Yeah, that is quite cool. Instead of a smoking, flaming, burning something, he's gone with that. Yeah, these ones actually, now you mention it, like all these ones here that have some kind of structure or vehicle as a background, even this one, you know, it's a nice touch just to have a wall and some shrubbery and a tree. Actually, you know, makes the image pop a little bit more.
Totally situates it.
Yeah. Oh, bull. Are we led to believe he's just come through that opening hole he's just blown up?
Hell yeah.
Maybe.
Jeez. I mean, his weapon is oversized anyways.
Yeah.
So it's conceivable that it could punch a hole like that. Jeez.
That's quite a nice piece of art there of Outback. I like that one.
Got a personal fave coming up, Chief.
Oh, I have.
Well, you got a personal fave character, I think.
Yeah, I do.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Kirchner. And I've got a personal fave, the very next one.
Have you? This guy?
Not so much the figure, but the artwork. Check that, dude. Like, he's just done a 360, basically. Whoa. Got some big aircraft coming in. V-22 Ospreys.
I was going to say it's not a
Three of them.
Not a C-130, is it?
No, they're those tilt rotor guys.
All right.
They've been flying around all day, and there are 3 of them. And at night, the do you know that the V-22 Osprey? It's like they're 2 rotor blades or rotor hubs, and they can tilt vertically. So at night, the propeller tips have lighting on them, so they create these green. Oh, so cool!
Cool. Yeah, because what time is it now? It's like midnight for you, is it?
11:05. So yeah, the flame stream. You see how it bends?
Right. Yes.
That's really cool. Because yes, a flamethrower, it sprays like a hose pipe, basically.
Yeah. Charbroil. Ambush.
Never liked the figure.
He came with a load of whacked out stuff, didn't he? He came with a tent and everything.
Yeah, but the base figure itself has some weirdness which I could never overlook.
Right.
And it also just seemed very plain. The shade of tan was too light.
Yeah. Let's get a few of these out. So finish off this battle gear. Let's see what we got here. Right. So we're still on the battle gear. Official battle gear.
Hate that guy.
He came with the weed whackers.
I'm going to put it on record now, Chief. I will never own Pathfinder. I can't abide that guy. I can't get excited about buying that figure.
Okay.
I will never be such a completionist so as to want him.
Mental note, don't send that to Sjubbs for his birthday.
You've already sold yours, mate.
I never had Pathfinder.
Then who did? Ben?
Yeah, Ben's got Pathfinder.
We definitely addressed him on a Toy Box episode. Yeah. Another fave.
Nice to see him with a knife out, actually.
He came with a knife.
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know why. I don't think I've ever seen him depicted holding it. This guy, I don't know who this guy is. You're going to have to help me out.
What says it on the card?
Yeah, but I've never heard of him. This is the first time I've ever read the words Desert Scorpion together.
He is an army builder. This is Cobra's Desert Squad.
Okay.
And it's considered a punishment even worse than being a Toxo Viper. And it's particularly meted out to Cobra troopers who are involved in petty crimes, like theft from other troopers.
Okay.
So you get put in this squad of like cutthroats and bad dudes.
Is this Scorpion just for effect, visual effect, or does he come with a big mechanized? It's a serious question. Does he come with?
I'm glad you asked. It's a very good question, Chief. He comes with what looks like an organic Scorpion, but it's hugely oversized. So okay. I'd say the Scorpion is 1-to-1 scale. It's scaled to us. It's that size, and it's a molded rubber Scorpion.
And this guy was in the cartoon and the toys?
Mm-hmm. And they did include a Scorpion in the cartoon.
Right.
But I don't think Desert Scorpion made an appearance in comic book issues. Yeah, okay. Now,
I mean, that
would a Techno Viper be as popular or more popular if he came in blue? Because it's miscolored there, wouldn't you say?
More popular... What do you mean?
As a figure?
No.
Okay.
Obviously, we know
a lot of people like their Cobra armies in blue.
No, it's purple.
Fair enough.
But this image, I like the Techno Viper figure, and I like the characters, even though they don't get to do much. But when they're on screen or on the comic, they're doing stuff. But this just looks so like a generic army man. It's just rubbish.
Yeah, you really need to show off that helmet. And they didn't. Okay. Give him the gas, Toxo Viper.
We saw some good Toxo Viper stuff on that Benelux catalog. They're in a couple of those images, and they looking good. Quite like them.
Yep, I'd say the figure gives rise to great lighting opportunities because of its extreme coloration. So similarly, its artwork. Yeah, it's nice. green gas. That's a favorite of mine. Oof. I do like the way they've kind of flared his ears.
Yeah.
Like making him look more monstrous.
Look at that. He looks like something the X-Men are going to fight.
Very good. Yeah, totally.
He is genetically altered. Surgically altered.
Either that or cosmetically altered, but
it's surgically altered to
surgically, yeah. Right. So something that the Hydro Viper is a hotbed of weirdness. We could discuss it for a long time, but so they implant webs between their fingers, but it still looks like they're wearing gloves. Like, is their skin now also purple? I don't know. Because he's got this, the figure comes with an open hand that has clearly got the webbing between the digits, but it's still purple. So that doesn't make sense. Like, you could just wear a glove that has a mesh.
Could that not be a webbed glove?
So you've got these, but then it makes the surgical procedure redundant, Chief.
No, but is that what it says? Does it say then that he has webbing
surgically like grafted between his fingers?
Right. Yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, it must make your hand kind of cumbersome for various activities you might use your hand for.
Yeah, Range Viper.
The deadliest cobra that ever there was.
Is that right?
Yep.
Now, why does he have a mask which looks like his brain?
No, sorry, it's the Saw Viper who took out all those Joes, but Range Viper's not far behind. Range Viper gunned down Sneak Peek.
So it looks like his brain's exposed on this helmet.
I think it's all but just part of the intimidation. They've got these like skull-looking helmets, which is something that is done. I mean, like,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of like Army of One. Oh no, Army of Two. That video game series. Yeah. Those guys always had like, huh? What planet is that?
That's the green one that the something was flying by earlier.
The Night Raven.
The Night Raven, yeah.
It's quite a dynamic pose for Astro Viper. And what's interesting is like they've done his helmet in red, which was what the card art had for the original toy, but the toy had a grey helmet. Yeah, I kind of want the red now. I'm like, yeah, red's cool.
This next one, great figure. I like his MO or their MO, and they've drawn this oversized, what it is with the figure.
Yeah.
Should this be what the size is? And the toy got it wrong and is undersized.
Once again, a very good question, Chief. I mean, what's going on with his... okay. The angle that they've drawn it makes his right arm look like it's an arm cannon. But it's really just somehow obscured his pink glove.
No, you're right. It looks like his hand has dropped off.
He's a battle android trooper with one of those like attachments.
He has drawn his arm as a cannon. If you look closely, there's a nozzle. There's a nozzle at the end of his wrist.
But could his fist not be obscured by that nozzle?
No, that nozzle's... Oh no, he's holding a gun.
Yeah, there's possibly a coloring error. Like you should see the pink hand beneath it.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
But you make a good point. Should the backpack not be large and somehow...
It was a lot smaller.
Yeah. I mean, the file card speaks to those being like glider platforms. Like it.
All right. What does it stand for? Target.
Trans-atmospheric re-entry global assault trooper.
Rapid. Not re-entry.
Bloody hell. Rapid. Awesome. Looking for a complete one, actually.
Okay, what are you missing?
The headgear. But I've got patience. Good things come to he who waits.
Night Viper.
I haven't been doing a good job of checking up the copy.
Well.
Oh. Night Vipers never make a sound. They're quick, sly, and can sneak up on anything. Their helmets are equipped with directional sound amplifiers, laser rangefinders, and passive infrared detectors that spot the body heat of a squirrel at 100 yards. Their battle suits are made up of synthetic composites that reduce the wearer's own infrared signature and defy most ground radars. These guys are easy to knock down once you get a hold of them. The problem is you have to catch one first. Now, each one of these troop builders is a story waiting to be written, Chief, and we haven't gotten it. If you are coming to your creative ends as a G.I. Joe writer or creator of stories, all you need to do is like fish out any given file card, character design, and there's a story waiting to be told there. I kind of wish we got just some of that.
Yeah,
I'd love to see a Target actually make a trans-atmospheric assault.
Yeah.
How mind-blowing would that be? It's not been done before.
Well, there's
Why?
even if it's not part of the regular ongoing, surely there's a 12-issue spin-off series focusing each issue on a different trooper. Done.
Too easy. It writes itself. I mean, I'd love to see a cat and mouse game between a squad of Night Vipers and the G.I. Joe Night Force. Like, oh, yes. Please. Somebody.
Someone will do it. Let's petition. Let's not petition to IDW do it. Listen, that's 82 cards covered. This is a 200 card set, so we are going to close up shop for today, and we'll return to cover off the rest of these cards. I think there's some like cover images, roll of honor of supposed dead characters, etc. So we'll come back to round off that set. But it's been good. It's been good looking through these cards with my main man Sjubbs. Where can the good people find you? Still cranking out stuff over on Joburg?
G.I. Joburg everywhere, be it Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, your podcatchers. Just this week, as of recording this, tomorrow I'm going to see Snake Eyes. Wish me luck. And the review will be out shortly after that.
I mean, I've watched the trailer. I don't get immersed in any news clippings or any social media chat about anything really. I'm not really interested. The only person's opinion I'm really interested in is my own generally. But unless good friends. But
no, don't teeter back off that precipice, Chief.
Joe Public that I don't know, I don't care what they think. So my overriding feeling is most people are down on this movie because it's probably not going to adhere to their vision of G.I. Joe, but I don't care I don't care if Snake Eyes is nothing like the Snake Eyes I know. If it's a good movie, I'll give it a good score and it'll be a good movie. I don't want to compare it to what I think it should be. So I'm open-minded.
I think the problem comes when Hollywood, time and time again, believe that they have a better story to tell than what's come before.
Yeah.
And that is a particularly egregious mistake when the source material is so good.
Yes.
Like this is perhaps the best story G.I. Joe has to tell. And however, if we're honest with ourselves, there's probably about maybe 5 truly great G.I. Joe stories. This is one of them. And they're not telling it.
However, I'm not a Hollywood media marketing guy, so I don't know how the numbers shake out. So if you told that one of those great G.I. Joe stories and put it onto cinema, then chances are the G.I. Joe fan base will go and see that movie. But what you got to remember is they're not making this movie for the G.I. Joe fan base, because that is not going to garner them enough revenue. So they got to make a movie that's going to appeal to Joe Public. And hopefully, as well as Joe Public going to see the movie, all the G.I. Joe fan base will go as well. So
even if it's just morbid curiosity.
I think they're never going to adapt a comic into a movie because they're just going to, because we love those stories, I don't think those stories are necessarily going to translate over to a non-G.I. Joe fan. But what do I know? Or is a good story a good story and everyone could enjoy it?
Exactly right, Chief. I think it's a good entry point into the story of G.I. Joe, and to try something new and unvetted, you risk it being kind of mediocre.
So,
Whereas a tried and true story that has been compelling fans of G.I. Joe and enthralling them throughout the ages. I mean, you know, if you were on the ground level in '82, you were swept up in the magic. If you jumped on a little bit later, like me, you were swept up in the magic.
yes.
If you're discovering the G.I. Joe ARR series now, you'll be swept up in it. And they're not doing that. So immediately, they should have something as good or better if they're going to go against that.
Okay, so for all the people who are, why didn't you use this original source material instead of coming up with this new thing? Have those people heard both sides of the story? Have they heard the story from the producers about why they didn't choose that? Or are they just...
We're talking about a producer who thought it was a good idea to slap flame decals and like pimp my ride lights on Optimus Prime. They're not
but that movie made
renowned for their good taste.
That movie made billions, so he was judged, he was correct in his decision.
Correct in the decision to
make money,
to kind of make the Transformers fit into a post Fast and the Furious world.
Yeah,
I think there's a way to do both.
Okay.
I think there's a middle ground where you can have a slick John Wick-esque solo character origin story, but also keep it at least factually correct with G.I. Joe.
Right.
But I don't need to beat this drum anymore. Like, the fan base has spoken and judged this as a poor idea.
Yeah, and but will the majority of them go and see it?
Yeah, cha-ching.
There you go. There you go.
Like I say, morbid curiosity. I think obviously there is always the notion of like, let's boycott this, but we don't really hold much weight in this. Like, the Star Wars fan base is huge, so a boycott from them does slightly ring true at the box office, but with G.I. Joe, not even a 0.001% would be affected. I don't think.
So would when it was announced, do you think that G.I. Joe movies, those two recent ones, and this Snake Eyes movie were announced that they were going to be made? Do you think most G.I. Joe fans would have preferred them to have not been made prior to them being made? When it was announced, would they say, "I'd rather you weren't going to make these G.I. Joe movies"?
I was on the front lines at the time, Chief, and I was all in. I was like, yes, please.
Okay.
G.I. Joe on the big screen, it's finally happening.
Right.
Hold me down. This is the greatest time for a G.I. Joe fan ever.
What was your expectation? Was your expectation that it was going to be your toy and comic love just on the screen, or was your expectation that it was going to be something completely different?
I think the expectation had already been eroded by the time I went to see it, because all anyone could talk about were the damn accelerator suits. And it was already common knowledge that Stephen Sommers, the director, had just shoehorned that in because he wanted to make a film called Accelerator about these suits. So all of a sudden, he had them in G.I. Joe. So I think we knew it was going to be shit.
Okay.
It was a question of scale. I recently rewatched both of them in preparation for Snake Eyes. I think that the biggest sin of both films is actually one common sin, and that's it really talks down to its audience.
Right.
It's like, you are a bunch of kids who love toys, so here we have toys going.
Okay, I think I've only seen them once each when they came out, and I haven't seen them since. And I don't remember hating them, but I don't think I ever had a massive desire to watch them again. But maybe I'll do a rewatch. I don't know. Give
an audience a bit more benefit of the doubt, please. Like, the strength of the G.I. Joe comic book is Larry Hama knew he was peddling a toy book, but he did not write down to children.
Yeah.
He wrote an adult book that stands up to this day as having grit, realism, sense of loss, stoicism, courage under fire, like all these elements, like valor, like it was all evident in those books. And they're just action movie shorthand tropes, which I absolutely loathe, that G.I. Joe commits every single one of them. Like case in point, Retaliation, which people say is the better of the two, has the most ridiculous climax of all when it boils down to a John Woo style, like two-fisting gunfight on the beach.
Okay.
In order for Roadblock to steal a briefcase from Firefly that basically has one red button on it, which if pressed will detonate Cobra's like doomsday device. Right. These orbital weapons, okay. all of them destroyed at the push of a button. Why would Cobra design this failsafe? Why would they have this like kind of like hand of God wave to just destroy their own?
Why would it be in a portable suitcase? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, protect that suitcase at all costs. That's all that matters now. Cobra Commander says as he's in his chopper flying away. Right. It just boils down to Firefly and Roadblock duking it out on the beach, and then the big climactic like boom, press the button as the timer runs down,
right,
and then everything blows up. Okay. It's stupid shit like that which tell me the writers really didn't treat their audience with much respect. This is less than video game logic. This is Saturday morning cartoon logic.
Yeah, but their first strap line is probably right. Let's make an action movie, and then we'll patch on G.I. Joe characters into it, rather than it being a G.I. Joe movie that happens to have action in it. But what's your pre-movie rating for Snake Eyes?
What am I basing this on? I've read leaked script synopsis.
What score are you giving it right now? What do you think you're going to come out? What score do you think you're going to come out giving it?
Is this out of 5, 10, or 13?
Whatever you choose, my friend.
Well, it doesn't make a difference because it's 0. Okay. Chief, I'm expecting to hate this.
Right, interesting. Good luck. Are you having some beers before you go?
You bet, and afterwards.
Oh no!
During the review.
Okay, all right. Well, my thanks to Sjubbs7, who's got to mentally prepare himself for tomorrow evening, I believe, when he goes to see this movie. We will be back with part 2 of this catch-up on the G.I. Joe Impel Trading Cards 1991. That'll be coming up hopefully soon when I can grab some more of this man's precious time. But until then, make sure you keep it geek.